Hooray. Hi, how are you?
Hi. You have so much cool stuff behind you.
I love your shirt and also everything behind you. So, hell
Thank you.
yeah.
I just got it. I just got it in the mail. I pre-ordered it and it just arrived. I was very excited to put it on.
Who was that Super Yacht? Who did that shirt?
Yeah, super
Super
yaki.
Yachty. I love them. They're the
Yeah,
coolest
I just got
ever.
my super yaki. Now I'm like I have no relationship with them other than I'm just a fan and I love them. And
They're the nicest. I did a collab shirt with them a long time ago, and
did
they
you
are
really?
literally I did like I love M. Night Shyamalan's The Village because it's my favorite movie, it's one of my favorite movies, and they're just so cool. So it's awesome to see you rocking that shirt.
You know, I I'm only in any of this shit because I'm a fan and it's really, really cool. I met Kate because I was a fan 10 years ago, tweeting about Hush whenever it came out, 8 years ago or something.
Uh,
So it's
okay,
like
so you're like a horror person.
yeah,
Hell
I'm like a
yeah. Okay, cool.
horror guy.
Yeah,
I'm not.
cool.
I'm probably a few steps behind. I think I'm 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 looking around your room and I know that there are I don't want to say I'm gonna get I'm not the horror. I'm a horror fan, a
No,
lover
that's
of the art.
amazing. That's amazing. Well, because that was my question. Like one of my biggest questions coming in, like, are you a horror guy? And it makes a lot of sense then that you would be the mind behind the new scare tactics then.
Well, I started off as a horror guy. I just didn't do well like 20 years ago. So I started as my tragic origin story is just failed horror writer who really luckily found his way back to it. It took about 15 years, but I'm kind of back doing what I really always wanted to do,
That's
which is really
amazing.
cool. Yeah, I mean, this was obviously I grew up on scare tactics.
Yeah.
And like many people, it was like late night mandatory viewing with friends, and you have your favorite bits that you replay and you pull them up on YouTube. And
Oh yeah.
I never, I never conceived of the idea that I would get to work on it one day because it was just like this cool kind of horror artifact. And
Yeah.
then I hear that that Jordan and Monkey Paw are doing it, and I was just like, I got to figure this out. I got to get over there. I got to get over there. I got to play around. I got to see how they did this. I got to learn some stuff. Scott Halleck, the original co-creator, was there, and just I got to learn so much from people that had done
Yeah.
it, and it was just it was really one of the most exciting kind of opportunities ever to get to play in a space that you once kind of watched and revered.
That's so cool. And like it's got to be a little bit scary, but also really cool to innovate and see how it's evolved over
I mean,
a decade, right?
terrifying.
10, yeah, like
Terrifying. What it's like. It's the scariest thing in the world, right? You're gonna take this beloved thing and try to add to the legacy, and it's something that people love. And the most likely thing that's going to happen is you're going to ruin it. That's like the most, right? We know this historically. That's like you got like 8 out of 10 chance. But I think that you can't let that stop you,
no, yeah,
and
yeah.
you have to give it your best shot and do your best to try to create. Scare Tactics was on for 5 6 seasons, I think 6 seasons,
Yeah.
and there are these kind of memorable few that we all kind of instinctually remember the moment. And I think trying to go and just trying to find one of those, trying to find one or two. There's so many that you're going to do, and they're going to be fun. But what are the ones that will outlive its current run? And
Yeah.
trying to keep my hopes low. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's a terrifying endeavor, but super exciting and humbling in the highest order.
Well, and so you're showrunner, executive producer. Were you there for filming of every single one of these?
I
the little
was,
scare
yes.
tactics. Oh my
Yes.
God. Okay. So
Yeah.
I can only imagine how complicated it is to like set all of this up and really keep the tension going and not let get the jig is up with cameras and like I just can't imagine the puzzle that y'all are creating for these segments that are pretty short, but I only imagine how many hours of setup that must take and like coordination. And that's so impressive to me. Was there one in particular that you were super proud of that you were able to like nail? I mean, all of them obviously are your babies. I don't mean to for you to pick a
No,
favorite,
no,
but
not
I'm
at all. Yeah. I mean, so it's interesting. One of the ones that I think is not a very traditional. I really loved playing in the non-traditional spaces on top of
yeah.
the ones that were just like so. There were the fun ones that we knew were going to work, that were going to be so exciting, and there were a couple that were like, I have no idea. And for me, there's two that come to mind. One
Okay.
was in the premiere, which was Death's Table, which was the one where we had
Oh.
a dinner, and one of the things being served was long pig or human flesh. And like the thing that's so frightening about that one, like that was so I'm kind of have you seen the menu?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
So like I possess all the bad qualities of all the characters in the menu. I'm one of those eaters. I'm one of those people who's like, oh no, it's not. Oh, the 43-degree egg. It's just I'm just not. I have those things. I wanted to really poke fun at myself with that one, and I've always wondered what would happen if I was given a plate of food at a meal that I wasn't okay with. And I've never been fed a person, thankfully. But
Yet.
I always wondered. And the truth is that we basically built a restaurant in the morning, brought in a culinary producer, created a menu with her, um, had actors. I hired an amazing actor named Stevie Blackheart who used to be kind of in hospitality, so really knew that world to be the maitre d' because I knew he could run it and really make it feel like a real restaurant. Brought in diners, and then we had one chance to make this all work. There was one opportunity. One man was going to come in with his friend, and we that meal was an hour and a half, hour 45, all leading up to this one moment
Wait, that's
where
crazy.
it's the craziest thing in the world. And we hired like Baron Vaughn, who's a comic who I really have always admired, to play the chef. And it's like, I don't know, he's kind of famous. Maybe they'll recognize him. Shit. And but I really thought he was so funny that it was worth the risk. And it's all of these little time, and so we're just sitting there for an hour and a half. They're eating dinner, they're having lots of conversation. All the actors are incredible because they're just keeping it going, and they're genuinely having fun because thankfully he was tremendously gregarious and outgoing and like just super fun to talk to. And then but if you put this plate down in front of him and he goes, that's ham, which it was, then the show's over. There's nothing. We've shot. There's nothing. Nothing exists. So it's about, and you don't get to do it again, right? It's about as high wire act as things can get, and it's really fun, and it's really scary. It's so scary,
Adrenaline
but
rush, like doing
and
skydiving, but with a lot more money
yeah,
and people.
yeah, and you're with your reputation on the line, and a dude and he's sitting there, he's holding it, and we're like, is he actually going to eat this? Because I don't think we thought he was going to eat it, which would have made a ton of sense. But then I don't know if it's very funny. So it's like you're really relying on a lot of unknowns. And I'm sure looking at the kinds of looking at Oddity, which I loved. Um, the the shots are well planned. Let's just say that at the very least, right? There's a real solid plan going into everything. Here, we're just like, I hope he eats the thing.
Yeah,
That's the
I
plan at the
hope
end of
he
the day.
falls for it. Like, and hopefully this 2 hour dinner
Yeah.
plus all the hours that have gone into it are worth it for
and
It's
then and then and then so, yeah, so that to me was like the one where I felt like my skin was on fire for like 6 hours, and I was so passionate about it that I was like, this is gonna be the best. And there was like always like an 80% chance it was gonna be the worst.
well, it's
um
confidence. You gotta manifest that confidence going into it. You just gotta go into it. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
yeah.
It's the producer. It's that producer in you. You're like, nope, we just have to hope it goes great.
What's that? It's a wishful hope or something.
Yeah.
um Whatever. But it was that, and also the art department. That's it's so overlooked. But in the finale, we have this character called Art of Darkness, which is one of my favorites of the season. I don't know if you've had a chance to see the finale
I
yet,
didn't
but
see that one yet. No.
it's a man walks into a art gallery and discovers that a there's a bit of a show from an artist who has been haunted by a demon for the last 8 years and has been trying to paint the demon. And as they go through, they find that there's all of these different paintings and different styles of the demon that look more and more like the guy who's the target, and his husband had set him up. And so as he's walking through in this kind of predetermined order, it looks more and more like him, until finally the artist comes out to unveil, because he's finally captured the true face of the demon, which is why he's okay showing his work. He unveils it, and it's just the guy's face painted onto a canvas, holding his own decapitated head. And the guy is standing 15 feet away. And it's one of the most surreal things I've ever seen. And it was amazing. And the actors pulled it off so well. But this was a like yacht club 45 minutes outside of Atlanta that the art department transformed into an art gallery and hid cameras in, and all of the walls were fake. And they did that in a day. They did that in
That's
a
so
day.
cool. That's also like, the art department being able to do that and like craft these places and also hide the cameras because that to me is like the shots are so well set up and it's really impressive to see in each scare tactic like how the cameras are so well hidden.
Thank
It's
you.
really
Well,
impressive.
we brought in, we had a team of just really talented people from different backgrounds. We had a lot of people that worked in scripted, a lot that worked in unscripted, people that worked in
Okay.
commercials, people that did a lot of hidden camera, but also people that did no hidden camera, because we wanted to make sure that we were kind of looking at every possibility, and
Cool.
dreaming really big and then letting the limitations of reality compress us rather than kind of negotiating what's possible. We try to just go in, our director Michael Shea is very, very interested in pushing the boundaries of what he can do. And that's always something that I love, trying to surround myself with people that are just excited to do new things. And so we just try to say, hey, what can we do that's different? Maybe it'll work, maybe it's not, and let's take some risks. I think I'm really proud of how the show looks. I have nothing to do with how the show looks, so I feel confident saying that. But our DP Jason Hafer and Michael Shea and Adrina Garibian, like they our lighting teams, like they just created kind of magical worlds that people were able to step into that did not take them out of reality. And they did all of it in 6 hours a day. First half of the day was the build, second half of the day was the shoot. Every day, different location, every
That's
day for a week. So, Mondays through Thursdays, get up, build a set, work with new actors, and the amount of pressure that was on the whole crew. The fact that it was one of the most impressive teams I've ever worked with in my whole life. And I'm like, without basically every single person, it would have all fallen apart, which is really, it's terrifying to look back and realize how hard it was. But it's also really invigorating to go, wow, they did it, they pulled it off. It's like
it's
incredible.
it's like because I made a movie myself. It reminds me like indie movie making of like, how did the hell did we do that so fast and so quickly? But we did it, and I'm so proud of it. And I don't want to think about how we did it because it's
Yeah.
like I don't. It's very. It's so cool.
It's the same feeling for what it's
Yeah.
worth. It's the same. It just
Yeah.
feels like making indies, and I miss that. That's what I
Yeah.
was making short films and documentaries and hustling, and it's really fun to make cool shit with your friends.
It is really cool to make cool shit with your friends. It's the best. It really is. And
It's
that's awesome. And I'm so glad it was like that to make a show like
it
this that felt
was.
like
It
that.
really was.
That's so cool. Our time is up. I'm so sad to say, but this has been so great to get to pick your brain a little bit about the new scare tactics and just how much love went into it. You can feel that, I think, in each episode is the
Thank
love
you.
that poured into it. So congratulations.
It's nice to me. I'm a Dread Central fan. I'm in that, so I was excited to get the opportunity to talk to you as well.
Wow. Thank you so much.
I hope we get to do this again soon.
Yeah.